Almost every single person who I've worked with to quit smoking who has used a nicotine patch in the past was using it wrong. I can't tell you the number of times someone has told me that nicotine patches don't work for them. And there are so many reasons why this is probably true, but so many ways we can actually fix this together. First of all, I get so many people telling me that they put the patch on and their cravings didn't go away and it was not effective whatsoever. Before I get into it, let's talk about nicotine patches. Nicotine patches are a transdermal patch, which is like a clear film patch that you put on your upper arm, your upper shoulder, or sometimes on your hip area that has nicotine in it and slowly gets absorbed into your body over 24 hours. And they come in step 1, step 2, and step 3. A step 1 patch is 21 milligrams, which is the strongest patch. Step 2 is 14 milligrams, and step 3 is 7 milligrams. When we're looking at dosing of nicotine patches, a step 1 patch of 21 milligrams is roughly around 10 or 11 cigarettes a day. The step 2 patch, which is 14 milligrams, is roughly 7 cigarettes in a day. And the step 3 patch is 7 milligrams, which is roughly 3 to 4 cigarettes per day. So just keep that all in mind. The number one reason when people come to me and tell me that their patch didn't work and they still had strong cravings, it did nothing, they kept smoking on the patch, which you're not allowed to do, but that they just couldn't quit smoking. The number one reason why people think nicotine patches don't work is probably that the dose was all wrong. Each cigarette is roughly 2 milligrams of nicotine. So that means that a 21 milligram patch has around the equivalent of 10 or 11 cigarettes worth of nicotine. And when I ask them how many cigarettes a day were you smoking at the time, they usually say somewhere between 20 and 25, which is about a pack a day. And when I ask them what patch they use, they usually say step 1. Step 1 patches are 21 milligrams of nicotine over 24 hours. If someone is smoking 20 to 25 cigarettes a day, there's no wonder that when they go down to 10 or 11 equivalent, that they feel withdrawal, that they don't feel good, they feel cravings, and they still want to smoke. We need to be really, really mindful about what dose of nicotine patch we put on and how many cigarettes that person is smoking. And of course, that's why it's important to work with somebody who knows this and who's able to safely monitor you, because I wouldn't necessarily suggest going on 2 step 1 patches either. Being on 2 patches that are both step 1, for example, then would be like 10 or 11 cigarettes each. It's around 20 to 22 cigarettes, which is roughly a pack of cigarettes. And in theory, that is something that we will do sometimes, but it's better to work with a healthcare professional, especially when you're going above the kind of like recommended doses. My whole point is that no wonder that patch didn't work. So when people work with me, what I usually recommend is trying to get down to 10 or 11 cigarettes as the goal through behavior strategies and through non-medication strategies. And once you get down to 10 or 11, if you feel like, you know what, I've tried everything I can, I really still want to quit smoking, I've done all the behavior strategies that I can possibly think of, and I'm just so sick of this and I just want to be quit, that's when we'll go on the patch, because now you're ready. Now you've made the changes and you're on the right dose of the patch so that you don't go through withdrawal. So that's my number one recommendation, is actually get to the number of cigarettes that match the strongest patch. And if you're working with someone who specializes in smoking cessation, like another pharmacist or another clinician, then we can talk about other options in terms of maybe having 2 patches and always doing that as safely as possible. So now that we've talked a little bit about patches, let's talk about how to use them properly. When we use nicotine patches, typically we're going to use them for 24 hours a day for the first couple weeks. When I work with people one-on-one, we do develop a bit of a schedule for putting the patches on, and also it's transitioning from strengths of patches. So going from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, we have a very specific way of doing it. But in general, you put the patch on in the morning, first thing in the morning after a shower. You want to make sure there's no like cream or lotion or anything oily on the skin. That way the patch sticks much better. And most people find that putting it on in the morning is the most convenient time to do it. So what I say is find a clean, non-hairy area like the upper arm, upper back, or sometimes the hip bone area. And you can put the patch on once a day for 24 hours. Put it on in the morning, set it and forget it. The idea is the nicotine will go into your system over the next 24 hours and help with your cravings throughout the day. You will want to rotate where you put the patch every single day. So maybe the first day it's the right side on the upper arm, second day it's the left side upper arm, third day is the right side upper back, fourth day left side upper back, and we keep switching through all of those spots, just because sometimes the adhesive in the transdermal patch can be a little bit irritating if you put a patch on the same spot every single day. And each box comes with 7 patches. In terms of the patch itself, if you get any of the sticky residue on your fingers, you're going to want to wash your hands with water and no soap. And this is because soap can actually make the nicotine go into your skin more, and so just water with no soap is usually the way to go. In terms of side effects, like I mentioned, some people get a little bit of irritation in their skin from the adhesive, but usually by rotating where they put the patches, it tends to really help with that, and then it's not so big of an issue. Another side effect that some people will notice is that they may have very vivid dreams. Now, they're usually not nightmares and they're usually not bothersome, but they might feel really real. And so when you wake up in the morning, you might feel like, oh my gosh, did that really just happen? But that's just something to keep in mind and look out for. And sometimes when that happens, we will suggest people take the patch off 2 hours before bedtime or right at bedtime, because it does take about 2 hours for the nicotine to get into your system and 2 hours to leave your system. And so if you take it off 2 hours before bedtime, then typically by the time you're going to sleep, the nicotine's out of your system and you can sleep without having those vivid dreams. I hope that was helpful for you if you ever consider using nicotine patches. And if you have any questions about how to use nicotine patches or any other nicotine products, then let me know in the comments and I will do my very best to answer those questions. As a reminder, this is not medical advice. I am a pharmacist, but I'm not your pharmacist. And so if you have any questions or you're not sure what to do next, definitely talk to your healthcare team, your doctor, nurse practitioner, or any other healthcare provider before going ahead with this if you're worried. Thanks. Bye.